Welcome to Jon Snow Labs Spark NLP video series. In this tutorial, we're going to create our first Spark NLP pipeline and see the different use cases we can run with it. So let's begin. In here, I'm using Spark NLP 2.3.1, which is the latest version up to the video recording time. Let's begin. Now, let's assume we have some data frame in Spark. So we can call Spark create data frame and create one single row data frame with a sentence called Peter is a good, let's assume we have a typo, person living in Germany with another typo. We hit shift enter, but before that we call the single column text. Let's make sure everything is fine. Good. The first step on every Spark NLP pipeline is the document assembler. So let's create the document assembler. The document assembler will consume the column called text, which is the only column we have, and have an output column called document. The document assembler doesn't really do anything, but it prepares our text for further NLP annotations, so it's a step 0 of any pipeline. It also has some additional configurations like cleaning up, so we can set up a set cleanup mode to shrink. For example, if you want to remove all the spaces that are in the surroundings of your text. There are other cleanup modes. You can check that up in the documentation. The first thing we also usually do is to have a sentence detection annotator. If you have multiple sentences in your single row, or if you're reading long documents per row, then it's very useful. In this case, it's not really useful, but we can make use of it by adding a different sentence like Paula is also a good person. She lives in London. Okay, so we have 3 sentences now. Good. Now let's make use of the sentence detector. Call it sentence detector. Detector. Set input calls. From now on, all of the specific annotators have more than one column type. Sentence detector only reads document type, so we are going to read the output of the document assembler. Call the output column sentence. And that's it. There are also other settings that we can run in the sentence detector. If we have autocomplete function, we can see that we have settings like explode sentences, which is actually very useful. Explode sentences set to true will basically put each sentence on a different data frame row. This is very useful to increase the parallelism performance of our Spark DataFrame. We can call it like that. Now, the next very important thing is usually to have a tokenizer. Tokenizer reads document type, which both the document assembler and sentence detector are document type, and return a token type. Let's create a tokenizer like this. Tokenizer set input calls sentence. Since we have a sentence detector, from now on we want to use always sentence output rather than document assembler output, and we can call the output of the tokenizer called token. We also have extra settings that we can add in the tokenizer, like exceptions, tokens we don't want to split. We can add context characters, like characters we want to remove from our tokens, splitting characters if we want to split by a specific character, and so on and so forth. You can check more of this in the documentation. We are not going to set up any particular thing here, but this is important to know. However, as just an example, we can add set exceptions and add a token that we don't want to split up. For example, email. This takes a list, so this needs to look like something like this. Okay, in our case we don't have the email token, but whatever, this is mostly an example. What else? Let's say we want to spell check this. So let's call spell checker. We call it checker, There are actually two spell checkers, the SymmetricDetele and the Norvig Sweeting. You can check which one works better for you depending on your use case. But here, we are not training anything, so we need to use pre-trained models. For that, the spell checker annotator is called Norvig Sweeting model, and we call pre-trained. After that, we set up the input calls to be token, because spell checkers spell check token by token. And we call an output column called checked. This will download a pre-trained model on our system and load it. Now the pipeline we are going to create will have all of this. Before we proceed, let's assume we want to do something more complicated, and we want to do an identity recognition, which is, well, it's not so complicated or special. So we can call NER and call a pre-trained model in NER. We can use the TensorFlow one by calling NER DL model.pretrained. The NER has two inputs, a document type and a token type. As a document type, we are going to use, of course, the sentence detection, and as a token type, you're going to use the spell check token. The spell checker return token type as well, so we can use either the Tokenizer output or the spell checker output. Of course, we want the spell checked output so we can increase the performance and accuracy of our pipeline. So we add checked here and set output column NER. Good. This is going also to download a model for us. Finally, a very useful thing is to have a chunk builder on NER. This is called a converter. There is an annotator called NerConverter, which is going to read the inputs of an NER, sentence, and token. So we need to add all of this: sentence, checked, and NER. Make sure you always use the same columns for all of the sharing columns between annotators. Set output column, we can call it chunk. Oops, I messed up something. Let me see what I might have checked. Oh, I missed parentheses here. Good. Okay, now how do we make sense of all of this? Okay, we need to import Spark pipelines. For that, we call from PySpark.SQL import pipeline. Oops, it's not SQL, it's PySpark ML pipeline. Sorry about that. And now we create a pipeline. We call pipeline set stages. We need to pass a list with all the stages we did. We have document, we have sentence, we have token, we have checker, we have NER, and converter. So wow, this is a complicated pipeline. Token is not defined. I might have called the variable Tokenizer. Good. You know, error happens all the time, so don't worry about it. Just read the error message and you'll figure it out. The next thing to do is that to know that pipelines need first a fit function. The fit function makes sure every component in the pipeline is already trained, so it's capable of transforming. In our case, we are not training anything, so however, fit is still required. So we call model the output of fit, and we need a data set for fitting. Usually if there is any annotator in the pipeline that might require training, it needs to know where to train from. In our case, it's irrelevant, so we pass the same data set. We can also pass empty data frames. That will be fine. Good. As you saw, this is immediate answer, so nothing happened actually. Good. Now that we have a model, we can now transform a data frame. We're going to transform our data set, which has those sentences. In here we might see any kind of errors, and we will actually see some errors. The problem is that we missed an input column for the NER. Named entity recognition requires embeddings. That is super important. So before the NER, we're going to call the embeddings. We have two types of embeddings, BERT or standard word embeddings. For now, we're going to use the word embeddings model and call a pre-trained one. Call the input columns, which are sentence and token. It needs to know the sentence bounds and the tokens, and call the output column embeddings. Now, as I was correct, we are also missing the embeddings in the NER function. Good. Let's make sure we update everything here. This will download the embeddings file, and that we update the NER with the new input columns. If we don't do this, it will fail. Now we need to recreate the pipeline by adding the embeddings. Where do we add the embeddings? Well, that's a good question. We need to take a look at the input columns and output columns of each thing. As you saw, embeddings is taking token input here. That is actually incorrect. The input for the embedding should be the spell checked. This will improve the accuracy of our models, of course, and we'll keep consistency. So the embeddings will read the checked. So since we read the checked, we need to make sure the spell checker happens before the embeddings exists. So this should be the order. Document, sentence detection, we tokenize the sentence, we spell check them, we create the embeddings, we run NER on the embeddings and the tokens and the sentences, and then we create the chunks with the converter. Good. We rerun this, we rerun fit, and we now can call transform. Good. If everything went well, this should return our final schema. Let's call this result equal and put the result there. Now let's actually take a look at the output. Okay, this worked out well, but now we have a mess. Each column has a huge amount of information regarding each annotation. The good thing is that we can see every step on each column and see what's going on in our pipeline. Let's assume we want to take a look at how well the sentence worked. As you can see, we have 3 rows now. That means the sentence detector detected 3 rows and put them in a different row. So we can do result, select, we choose the sentence column, and we call out the result content and click show. We also disable truncate so we can see the entire sentence. Shift enter, and we see the 3 sentences that our sentence detector detected. Peter is a Godot person living in Germany. Paul is also a good person. She lives in London. 3 sentences. Let's take a look at how our pre-trained spell checker worked out here. We do select. We call checked. That's the column name of the spell checker output. We call result. Result is basically the main output of the annotation. We can take a look at other information as well, but for now let's just take a look at the main result. Good, so we see how it fixed things. So, well, it didn't work out so well since Godot was fixed to God. So it's not a God person, but these things happen. Paula is also a good person and she lives in London. So this is how our model will behave. We can fix our spell checker, train a new one, or figure out how to improve these results as any machine learning data science program. Now let's proceed with what happened with the NER. So we do result.select NER result and take a look at the results of the NER. Okay, these are the labels that it detected by token. So we have a person, Peter, person, Paula, location is Germany, which was spell checked correctly, and location London here. So everything looks good. So how do we get the bounds, for example? Well, we can do select NER begin and NER end and click show. This will show the boundaries of the NER labels. So this is not really useful because it's giving us the boundaries of each token, begins and ends. How do we really see the boundaries of each NER entity? Well, that's where the converter comes into action. the converter, which we called chunk. We can take a look at the chunk here, and we can select also chunk begin and chunk end. So the converter will read the output of the NER and build chunks. Good, now we see the chunks. We have Peter, we have Germany, we have Paula and London. So hopefully this wasn't confusing. This is a little bit too much of information, but we actually built a real-time running pipeline. What happens if we are not happy with the performance speed of this and we will have a single machine to run this and we want to compare to libraries like Spacy or NLTK? Well, we have the LightPipelines. LightPipelines work faster than standard pipelines because they don't use the overhead of Spark. To create a LightPipeline is very easy. We can create a variable called light, and we call LightPipeline. And we need to pass the model pipeline we trained. With this, we have extra functions available. The most important one is annotate. Annotate will take straightforwardly a string. For example, Bruno is living in Italy and he is doing well. We hit Shift Enter, and what we get is a Python straightforward dictionary with all the outcomes of our pipeline. Super straightforward, super fast. This is also useful for streaming processes where Spark is just overheading. Okay, hopefully this gives you an overview how to create your first pipeline. Keep tuned for more videos and good luck. Bye bye.